go. Hi guys, hello, Mary, meet everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene. It is the 1st of August. And today, of course, is Tuesday. And I wanted to, first of all, kind of get you up to speed of what's going on the channel, because it's getting a little crazy up there right now. I don't know way to say this. So first of all, I got a couple people, the channel's being moderated. I'm trying to be a fair moderator. There's some conversations going on in the channel that I have to admit are a little bit, how do I put it bluntly, nicely anyway, might be potentially starting a flame war, and I'm not really too comfortable with that. And I have to be honest, I don't really know what to make it any heads or tails to it. I've had people call me a fascist because I said is that I want to keep an eye on the conversations to make sure things don't get too crazy. And let me just assure you, we have to remember that everybody keeps talking about the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, and I read through the First Amendment last night, which is pretty short. Our founding fathers did not normally tend to write a lot of unnecessary legalese when they wrote the Bill of Rights, the U.S. Constitution. They kept it pretty simple. And I don't have it here on this phone. I have it on the other phone. That basically says that Congress will not have a state religion. Congress also will not prohibit the people to peacefully assemble and protest. Congress will not create any laws to prohibit the freedom of speech of ideas. There will be freedom of the press. Now, of course, in the 21st century, the press could be, of course, Google, and YouTube certainly is part of the modern press. So, because we know that Google, of course, using the common technology of the 18th century, you could say they owned the printing press, and unfortunately, it does not say that the press is necessarily going to be free speech, but rather is that the press has the right to say what it's going to say. And that kind of brings into the modern day area of fake news and concerns of fake news. Because we know that several of the mainstream media websites and news sites in general have been trying really hard to push a very, very leftist slant against the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, which has been doing a fantastic job. And I wanted to just talk about that real quickly. Donald Trump has brought jobs back to this country. He's bringing prosperity back to this country. And that's not refutable. You can't deny that. You can see it everywhere. Business is starting to return to the United States. People are starting to feel good about themselves again. And the economy and the sales numbers are up. People are buying more things. People feel more confidence in their ability to spend. And it's becoming very noticeable. But here's an interesting piece of article, which Gary French brought it up, but it actually was brought up beforehand in the mainstream media, but somehow they decided not to push it. And that is Walmart. Walmart has said that they're going to bring back 1.5 million jobs to the United States, but there's a little catch. Here's the catch. The concern is that they're saying is that for a lot of the job skill sets that are needed to make products, so we're talking about more sophisticated products, they need trained workers to make the things, to make the products. And And that's something that Barack Obama did talk about, but he didn't really cover it. There goes a little crooked there. He didn't really cover it very well because Barack Obama was kind of trying to push the socialist agenda, the left agenda. But at this point, at least I can say with about 90, with some good news is that Walmart has said, damn, let's go. I gotta fix this clamp on this thing. Is that we're willing to bring jobs back to the United States, but we need to have trained workers to fill the positions to make the products. And unfortunately, a lot of the American people today, especially the older generations, don't have the training needed to make the products. And also the other thing is that sometimes the states themselves are their own worst enemy. I know Connecticut certainly has been. But Daniel P. Malloy's budget, Daniel P. Malloy's governor, which is governor of Connecticut, and his attitude regarding trying to raise taxes on the rich to finance the programs for the poor. That's not working anymore. Connecticut can't take any more money out of the rich. The rich, of course, are more mobile than the poor. The poor are probably going to stay with Connecticut for a long, long time. But the rich will quietly pack their bags and take their bat and ball and go home. Go to another state. They'll move, just like General Electric moved to Boston. Just like UPS, the headquarters left the state of Connecticut, along with several other companies. It's not going to work to tax the rich and the affluent. It's not helping anybody. What would help everybody is to actually encourage companies to come into the state of Connecticut and create jobs for all people. And that's what the state needs to do. If we can create jobs in the state of Connecticut, we do a fantastic thing for everybody. But as long as, I'm sure love live streams. Yeah. Okay. So, that's why you can see, but, okay. Yeah, that's my other eye. Alright, but what I'm trying to say is, as long as we're creating jobs for all Americans, and all Americans have a chance to show their skill, we'll make 1,000% better life for everybody. So let's get today's weather, and then we will, see if I can answer some of Doria's biggest questions for this weekend, for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But for right now, let's start with today. Right now, at this time in the morning, it is 25 degrees Celsius. It is fair. The temperature feels like 26 degrees Celsius. Winds north-northeast at 9 kilometers per hour. Humidity is at 64%. UV index is 4, which is moderate. Dew point is 18 degrees Celsius. Sunrise is at 5:46 a.m. Sunset is at 8:10 p.m. As we go for the next few days, starting as of today, the expected high today is supposed to be about 28 degrees Celsius with 10% chance of precipitation. For Wednesday, August 2nd, 60% chance of thunderstorms, a high at 28, a low is 16. Thursday, 60% chance of thunderstorms, a high at 27, a low of 17. Friday, 80% chance of thunderstorms. Just gonna get rained out for Friday, guys. I would say a high at 27, a low of 17. Saturday will be better by a little bit. 40% chance of thunderstorms, a high at 25 degrees Celsius, a low at 12. And Sunday, August 6th, will be all clear. No rain in the forecast, a high at 25, a low of 14. And if I looked up the extended forecast, I see temperatures that are going to be very, very receptive to my energy costs. So, and the weather will be pretty good too. So, that's great. And I'm kind of happy about that. Now, so let me go to check on the status of my channel here. See how many people are actually watching this thing. And so anyway, like I said, I'm watching these conversations because they're getting kind of ridiculous. Sorry, they are. I'm watching them because I want to see what's going to happen. I'm trying to be fair. I'm not trying to infringe on people's speech. Notice I said trying doesn't mean I'm always being 100% successful. Guys, I gotta tell you something. These conversations that I'm hearing right now on YouTube, among some of my members of my channel, are getting a little bit heated, and I really makes me nervous. I even hear the word defamation lawsuit being mentioned in a few conversations. Personally, I would think that I would rather see us have a good conversation and enjoy ourselves and enjoy a dialogue amongst peers than to worry about trying to go into civil court. Suppose we say she said this, he said that. I don't really think that's really where I want to go. Okay, I think it's kind of bordering on the silly, and I just don't want to go there. People just don't want to go there. It's expensive. It's impractical, and it doesn't solve a damn thing. So, yeah, you guys can talk about lawsuits, but I don't think it's going to answer anybody's questions. I think it's something that, I think, just like it's sometimes said, it's always going to do is bring tears and pain, and nobody wants that. And also makes nothing but makes attorneys rich, and it's ridiculous. Speaking of lawsuits, I want to talk a little bit about. People ask me often, what is the major medical cost for medical increases in payments and things? The biggest expense in the industry is torts, which tort reform never was part of the Affordable Care Act. Nobody ever did tort reform. And what is torts? Torts are basically personal injury lawsuits, malpractice lawsuits. I got a tort museum right here in Winston. The old bank on the other end of town was turned into a tort museum for personal injury law. If you want to go there and look it up, it's not really my thing. I'm not really into personal injury law, but some people like it. That's the reason why it's on those, some personal injury lawsuits make sense to an extent. There's some gonna border on the stupid. Alright, take for example, remember the woman when she spilled coffee on her lap and gave herself second-degree burns, right? From McDonald's coffee saying it was too hot. Well, first of all, was that a reasonable tort? Well, I don't know. I've drinking some pretty hot coffee in my time, and this coffee's kind of tepid. It's not hot enough for me. But it's not so hot I'm going to burn my throat either. But sometimes when personal injury lawsuits occur, it's nothing more than a dog and pony show to make money. And that's one of the reasons why doctors have to have malpractice insurance, because even a good doctor starts saying is, I got to go ahead and order all these extra tests that I really don't think are necessary because of all my years of residency and all my years of study as a doctor, and I have to protect my butt. I have to make sure that no one can find any kind of way to sue me for supposedly making a bad diagnosis, and that's where personal injury and tort reform needed to get involved with the with the Affordable Care Act, but it seemed like nobody really thought about that. Everybody thought about is, oh, we got to lower the prices for everybody. We need a single-payer system. We need to create all this, exchanges for Obamacare and all this and all that. And yet the most important thing that the medical community could have always asked for, and they should have asked for, is, and they did get some, just recently, they got some protections from malpractice, but it's a little bit too little right at this point. I think we need to go further than that. I don't think that goes far enough. So, and part of the new insurance health programs being produced by Congress, by the Republicans, is I think we need to add tort reform as part of that package, because even if we decide to go back to the way it was back in the before Obamacare, the most important thing we need is tort reform, because medical doctors need to feel that since especially they've been in the medical community for a long time, that even if they make a misdiagnosis, it happens. It happens, guys. Okay, it's not because they're trying to be mean and kill your mother or something. It's just sometimes mistakes can happen. It's doctors need a little bit of protection, especially those that are not doing wrong. Sure, we should have, if it's deliberate act, that's a criminal case, and nobody's going to disagree with that. But if it's a mistake, if a doctor, for example, misdiagnoses your mother or your sister or yourself, that doesn't mean that they should be sued out of existence because of, all the results say that they should have been diagnosed as A, and they thought it was possibly diagnosed as B, because, say, 5 out of 7 tests say it matches diagnosis B, but they didn't even consider possibly diagnosis A. It happens, okay? So Republicans in Congress, Democrats too, please consider adding tort reform to your medical bill, whatever it's going to be. If it's old school methods, the way it was independent, people choose your insurance providers, but you provide some protection for people not to be thrown off the medical coverage they want. Or if they, if it's going to be a whole new system completely different, please consider it, because innocent doctors, they really need your help too. I mean, if we are supposed to be protecting the innocent and, stuff, that's tort reform is certainly a part of it. Now, I want to talk also about the situation with China in North Korea, because I think this is another area of where you got China has said supposedly that they put sanctions in North Korea. And yet, you see North Korea is still growing in population and in development and new technologies. So, obviously, somebody is financing the Hermit Kingdom. Somebody's giving them equipment and supplies. Somebody is actually doing all those things. And, like Donald Trump said, all China does is say, just talk about sanctions, but they don't really necessarily follow through. Well, there's a lot of reasons why that is. Here's the number one reason. China does not want South Korea and North Korea to annex each other and then end up on its southern border as one big democratic country. You gotta understand that China runs its own society with an iron fist. Nobody thinks about this. I watch videos from China. I watch the people from China. I watch what they're talking about, how the society of China is run. They don't want anything to do with a southern country that has been annexed by the South Koreans and North Koreans getting back together, and all of a sudden now they get this major democracy or semi-democracy. I don't know if they would be calling it the DPRK or not, but which stands for the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or if it would be just Korea or whatever, okay, China wants to keep the Hermit Kingdom as its buffer. So they don't necessarily like Kim Jong-un, but they don't, like I said, China, by the way, is in it for its own good. Don't forget this. China makes sure they make cheap phones, and they make cheap watches, and they make cheap eyeglass frames, and they make the plastic to make the eyeglass frames and the eyeglass lenses and all this stuff. But they're not in it out of altruism. They're in it. There's a political reason why they're doing what they're doing, and it's really strongly noticeable. Okay? So, China is, maybe I think that Donald Trump needs to put sanctions on China. I think he needs to go to the United Nations Security Council and say, hey, you know what? This country's not doing what they said they're going to do, or they haven't done enough, or they refuse to do more. Okay. They're already building a fortress in the South China Sea, and that's my alarm clock, guys. So I'll say about that. So that they're building up the military. They're going, they're making everybody nervous. I'm talking about China, and of course North Korea ain't helping. So you got this situation in the three major powers in China, North Korea. And Japan isn't innocent either because they're fighting over the islands, and that's where it all starts. So what I'm trying to say is if we're gonna try to force China to capitulate, we're going to have to possibly put sanctions on China to get them to capitulate. If not, there'll be ramifications. But now with all the good news that Donald Trump's doing for the American economy, the problem is what I'm going to suggest is potentially bad news too, is that maybe we can start reproducing our own products here. The problem is just like Walmart said, we need trained people to run the machinery and make the products. You can't just, it's not just like pouring molten plastic into a machine, or like extruder just to make clothespins. There's a lot of work involved in other things in manufacturing, such as, furniture, consumer electronics, cables, machinery, clothing, and all this stuff is going to need people who know what they're doing and have the skills to make it. So, that's a really big issue. But if we were already established, we had already established the complete system, and our full factories were roaring away, I would say if we were to go ahead and tell China straight out, we're not buying your products, we're not buying anything from you. But then again, they held so much of our debt. That is how they got us, by the short and curly. Think about it. It's not like you can go ahead and just tell China, I'm not buying your shit. If they did that, guess what? There's likeliness that they will find themselves becoming Chinese. Because if they call on the debt, that in Germany, we'd be screwed. Okay, and I think Donald Trump knows that. So that's reasons why he's not trying to push the buttons with China and North Korea, because they don't want to screw each other. All right, so for the time being, it's getting late, and I see that they're putting products out on the table. And so I probably might want to look around and see what they got. Well, let's take a quick look and see if there's any new messages. No, nothing yet. Let me switch over here. Yeah. I'm just checking the phone here, and I can't actually read the comments. So, if you guys are typing like crazy, trying to post comments, and then not getting anywhere, I apologize. I can't read the comments. There's no way to read the comments on a BlackBerry. Part of the reason is that neither BlackBerry nor YouTube have agreed to write an application for the BlackBerry Bold 9900 to read comments from Ditto Dash accounts. So I can't read it. All I can say is I have 2 watchers. I'm glad to see that. And let's see. Let me put this in my 2017 Snow Clean playlist. And what else I got here? And I got, yeah. Okay, so that takes care of that. Alright, so, unfortunately, I didn't fully charge my phone last night. I did and I didn't. And, unfortunately, so my BlackBerry, it's only got half a tank of volts. So, I gotta charge it when I get home. And, so, now let me ask yourself another question. Okay, so the new microphone is going to be here tomorrow. Yes, at least according to the Postal Service. The new cables are going to be here tomorrow. Yes, okay. Again, according to the Postal Service tracking numbers. Are you going to save your money and buy an iPad so that you can go ahead and be doing more live streaming and be able to read the comments and chats on the iPad? Yeah, I'm considering it. Since now I'm going to be financing it out of my own pocket, I guess I might go for a second-hand iPad 3, but I got to make sure I find one that's not, like, iCloud locked or not broken or, to the point where I got broken glass all over the place, kind of broken. I'm not just talking about, like, just a little bit of chip here and there. I'm talking about major trauma to it. And I'm not always going to be taking an iPad with me. But I use my phone, by the way, because you wonder why I use this phone as a mini iPad. In other words, a micro iPad. In other words, it's small, it's civility, it's a little tiny thing. So compared to a standard iPad 3, that is. So I can put it in my in my purse and I have it with me. But you get an iPad and it's gonna be a lot bigger. Some of you might be saying is, why don't you go for an Android iPad or Android tablet? I considered it. But then again, I'm not sure if I really want to get a tablet at all. I'm not even sure if I want to stay with T-Mobile or not. I keep saying I don't, but then I keep doing the opposite and keep staying anyway. That's a whole nother conversation. We can discuss that another day. Are we going to have another live stream? Well, here's the deal. You told me when. Okay, now, I already told you the weather forecast for the weekend, and I would say that at this point, let me look at the 10 days again. Sunday, August 5th, it's going to be 25 degrees with a 40% chance of thunderstorms. Yeah, I would say possibly Sunday at 7 o'clock on August 5th. And, by the way, when am I going to get my hair retouched? Oh, that's easy. I'm getting my hair retouched. Let me exit out of this one here. On view agenda. Let's see. Make sure I get the right day here. Okay. Let's see. Look at this. Not this week. Next week. August 9th. I'm going to get my hair retouched on August 9th. So you're going to be looking at lots of new hair sprouting on my head until August 9th. And then I'll be retouched. And so that's the way it is. See, remember, my hair is actually bleached. My hair is bleached. It's not naturally this color. So, yeah, it's the reason it looks like it does. When the hair starts growing out, you see this look. I like the color, that's why I stick with it. It doesn't mean it's not quite as high maintenance as some hair, but it's pretty bad. It gets snarled up, it gets tangled and twisted, and it can be really difficult to get out the tangles and snarls, but I get it out anyway. Okay, so for now, I want to thank you all for watching this. These two viewers, I'm glad I have two viewers, and I will see you guys later on today. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.